Hi, this is Raj from MR Sportscars. In this episode of Diary of a Porsche Specialist, I'm going to talk about a very special Porsche 911. It's a 997 Gen 2 Targa 4S. Here I've got two examples, both in Carrara white, but with very different factory options, but also one is essentially completely standard, so as it left the factory. The other has had some subtle or not so subtle enhancements done to it in the last year. And this is the one that's had the modifications. All of the modifications are reversible, but I sold this car last year completely standard, and I'll show you a picture of it when it was standard now, just on the screen. So as you can see, it looks very different now, even from just the side. But it's trying to sort of replicate what the 997 Gen 2 GT3 RS looked like with sort of the Targa shape. So I'll run through the differences between these two cars, talk about the sort of reversible enhancements you can do on these cars. So I've already produced a video that sort of covers that, but this car has some different applications of paint and vinyl and other bits that are worth covering and showing you how to sort of personalize your car if you want to. Both are Porsche Club owned. They both have Porsche Club GB stickers in the windscreen, so they've both been well looked after. One is a manual, one's a PDK, which is another interesting difference as well. So I'll run through all those bits now. So first we have is the manual. These were considerably rarer than the PDKs of the 997 Gen 2. I believe there was only around sort of 25-ish. We're going to look at that actually later on. I've actually got my laptop set up so we can look up how many left and actually see, and I can show you why I say that these are so rare. And then this is the one I sold last year. It's a PDK. Targa 4S, Carrara white, different wheels. So from the factory, this one came with the Carrara Sport wheels with the diamond cut edge, and this one came with Sport Design wheels, and I believe they came in black originally. They were black when I sold it last time. I mean, even the badges are different. So this one actually from the factory came with no badges, but when I got it, I thought I don't like cars that don't have badges on the back. I think they almost look sort of a bit too anonymous. So I bought a new badge from Porsche for this one, and then this one here from the factory, it did actually come spec'd with 911 instead of the model designation. So that's the difference there. Now I'll talk you through the differences inside. From the factory, this one came with the optional body coloured centre console, so this is in Carrara white. It came with the multifunction steering wheel, manual gearbox, the AISIN 6-speed manual gearbox. It came with PASM, which is standard on all S models, so the 4S, they should all have PASM. Then it comes with the switchable sports exhaust, air conditioning system. It didn't come with heated seats, so that's interesting that it didn't come with those. But it did come with a full sat-nav module there, and it came with without cruise control, so there's not an extra stalk where you'd find one there. It did come with the memory seats though, so the memory seats memorise the mirror positions as well as the driver's seat, and it came with a full electric comfort seat. So these are they're the sort of the narrow top without the wide shoulders, but they're fully electric with a lumbar support system, which is this section here. Didn't come with bows either, so there's no bows there. And obviously it's black extended leather, which is the choice of most people these days. Most people want the black leather, not only for themselves, but they're also concerned about resale value. It has the standard door entry guards, so they're Targa 4S with a plastic surround. and it's just a really lovely car. So that is essentially the factory standard one. Very desirable in manual, but also the fact that it hasn't had any changes done to it at all over its life. So that's what most Porsche purists go for, is something that hasn't been changed, enhanced. They want it as it left the factory, essentially, with as few owners as possible, as low mileage as possible. This one only has one previous owner, so that does make a difference to its value. Now this one is a little bit different. It was factory standard until last year when I bought it and sold it, but now it's had some upgrades. So the most obvious one is the wheels. So they've been painted not just in guards red, because that's sort of guards red there. It's been painted in GT3 RS red, and that matches the side stripes, which are the same GT3 RS side stripes. And I'll show you a picture of a GT3 RS just so you know what I'm talking about. So they came with white paintwork, red wheels, red mirrors I think as well, the side stripes and red wheels. So immediately that looks very different. This one had from the factory the optional model designation stickers, so that's why it says Targa 4S there. They weren't fitted afterwards, they were spec'd from the factory like that. On the inside, let me talk about the sort of factory options first rather than the enhancements. So this one also came with the multifunction steering wheel, but it came with the PDK box. So it had the rocker switches to change the gears through the steering wheel. It came with the optional aluminium handbrake and the optional aluminium PDK shifter, so that would look different if it didn't have that option. And then also this was spec'd from the factory in silver. Now obviously the whole interior was spec'd in the Carrera red natural leather extended leather option, so that got you leather and red plastics and carpets, embossed headrests, and then the seats are also the optional 18-way fully electric hardback sports seats. So these bolsters actually move in and out. This is a lot wider than the comfort seats I just showed you, and as I said, embossed headrests. It comes with the heated seats. Now this centre console is also very interesting. It's one I've never seen before, which is finished in silver to match this section here and the aluminium there. Normally that is the black, as you've seen in the other car, and this came with the same two options. So it obviously had PASM and the switchable sports exhaust. Now the last owner also took out the PCM, so the PCM is no longer in this car, but it has an updated Pioneer system which works with CarPlay and it works with the standard stereo system. This one didn't have Bose either. Now from the factory, this car was actually spec'd with white seat backs. However, the last owner has covered them in a carbon wrap. This is going to come off for sale. I'm going to take these off. I prefer it being bright white, to be honest, to match the outside of the car. And then actually other options while I'm here on the inside. So it has the memory seats, which was available with all the full electric options of the seats. So either the comfort seats that are full electric in the other one, or these red hardback sports seats could come with the memories. Obviously these were available in black as well, they're not just available in red. The other options on the inside is this GT3 style steering wheel retrim. So it's got Alcantara, and then it's got the yellow stitching at the top at the 12 o'clock, black and red. Suits it I think it actually suits it really well. Yeah, I really love that. Now the other thing that the last owner did was, obviously he's vinyl wrapped the mirrors to sort of, if you took them off it would look a bit, I think it would look really strange with just the bright red wheels. The sort of vinyl mirrors, the vinyl GT3 style side stickers really suit it, actually completes the look I think. And then also these bits here he's had wrapped in black, so normally that's chrome. So from the factory they were all chrome. So that was one of the unique features of the Targa. And this one he's blacked it out to make it take away that feature, so it's not a distraction from the theme he's going for, which is the GT3 RS. Now there's one other factory option I forgot to mention, which is this car doesn't have a rear wiper, so that was specable from the factory. This one does. Some people preferred not having it because it sort of ruins the lines of the rear, and you can actually take it out. And in fact, a lot of owners do take this out now that these cars are sort of just for fun. Take that out and they put a little rubber bung there. As I said, they were both fitted with the sports exhaust, which comes with this sort of silvery aluminium surround with the steel pipes. The last owner of this one has had them refinished in black and had the steel polished up. They tend to go like this, so they tend to go sort of like a dark silver, as well as having that that new stereo system. It's also had a rear reversing camera fitted, so that's there. So when you put it in reverse, it just shows you the image from the back. Obviously, this one doesn't have one, so that's another difference. And then the biggest thing at the back, which I haven't made a big thing of yet, is the rear spoiler. So that's not a factory spoiler. That has been fitted by the last owner. It's actually a, let me find the badge. There's the badge, just here. It's a Tech-Art Type 3 rear spoiler. Tech-Art are a very well-renowned German tuner, and this spoiler, believe it or not, is about just over £2,000 before fitting. Now, some people won't like it because it's not a Porsche part. Other people will love it because it adds a little bit. And then he had the edges vinyl wrapped in red to continue that line of the red accents on the side. So it does look extremely sporty now. Just a completely different look to this one in the same colour and everything. So yeah, they're great to compare and contrast, basically essentially the same car with some very choice, both have very choice factory options, but also some choice modifications. And then also at the front, he's had this front section with a red accent, again to match the GT3 RS from the front. Now I know it's not going to be to everyone's taste, but other people I know will love how it is. It can be returned to standard. I have the standard rear spoiler, which is actually just under there, with all the bits to make it go up and down. This one is fixed, it doesn't go up and down, so it's been disabled. It will not go up and down like this one, which has the rear that comes up and down here. The roofs and everything work as they should, and how they drive is actually not down to any modifications, because obviously this one hasn't had any performance enhancements, it's just had aesthetic changes. How they drive is very different, purely down to the gearbox. So the PDK is, I'd say, more efficient at changing gear. The manual is more involving, and it can get hard on longer journeys because the clutch pedal is quite heavy on these cars. And if you're just taking it for Saturday morning runs, a lot of people would prefer, I guess, the manual these days. But both are very capable boxes, and I get asked a lot which is the best. I just want a manual. Why should I get a PDK? I tend to steer clear of giving people opinion over the two, because I think they're both great. So I let people make a decision for themselves, and basically say they're great cars. It's just whatever your preference is personally, what your circumstances are, and what you would prefer to drive yourself. Other options I forgot to mention: silver seat belts from the factory were also fitted on this car. It has the standard kick plates like the other one. The head unit also incorporates DAB, so it's got an extra aerial here. And as I said, they've both got the Porsche GB sticker there. Now, in terms of rarity, let me just fire up my laptop. So I've got the website howmanyleft.co.uk fired up. And if I put in Porsche 911 Targa, and I want to show you how rare these cars are. So the models I want to show you, luckily, because these cars were fitted with the PDK, which is known as the semi-automatic or the manual, they actually have different model designations in the DVLA record. So this is actually DVLA data. So if I look up the Targa 4S, so this is the manual one, and I look for new registrations, and then the Gen 2 era was basically here, late 2008. So let's say there was a handful, maybe 4, 5 in 2008, 13 in 2009, 5 in 2010, 3 in 2011. That's new registrations in the UK. So if we say 5 plus 13, 18, 23, 26. So as I said, around 25 was my estimate. So that is literally one of 25 cars, that manual one there. So extremely rare, extremely desirable as a result. But then even if I look at the semi-automatic ones, so that's the PDKs. So I go back and I do. So there's obviously the newer models are also in here as well. I know that the 991s, they added PDK into the description, and I believe these are going to be the ones I want to look at. Maybe not actually. No, they're 991s. So I need to look at the other ones. 4S PDK. Yeah, so these are the ones. So these are the 997 Gen 2 PDKs. So basically this one here, the 4S with the PDK gearbox with the modifications. So again, very low numbers. So we've got, let's say there was 4 in 2008 out of that 16 that were Gen 2s, and that could be an overestimate. So 4 plus 40, 44, 115, and then you've got 146 plus 6, 152. Plus the 26, so yeah, there's less than 200, 178 in total, which is incredible that it's such a low production number. But then it does make sense because these cars were built in the era post-credit crisis of 2008, so the subprime crash of mortgages, and then the fallout from all of that, the banks being bailed out and all of that. So there weren't a huge amount spent, weren't a huge amount of buyers around then ordering new cars, especially not in the finance and banking sector. So this sort of like top end model, because these were very expensive compared to the Carreras, the Targa 4Ss were very, very special. There weren't many ordered, and as a result, they're extremely rare. So less than 200 in the country. Well, yeah, less than 180. I've actually sold 6 of these, so I've actually sold quite a few. Well, quite a big percentage for a small Porsche Specialist of the total production of these Gen 2 cars. This is my first manual, by the way. It's the first one I've had. And interestingly, there's a good story with that. So that one is off to a lovely chap who has grown up with a 70s 911 Targa that his father's owned. It's in white, so they are essentially going to be matching this car with a very rare 70s 911 Targa. So it's going to be a great addition to the family's little collection of Porsches. And he is absolutely chuffed and over the moon that he's found this car with me to sort of match his dad's one. He did have a Gen 1 Targa, but it was in silver, a Gen 1 Targa 4S 997. He sold that as soon as he saw this car and said, I would love to have this car and own it alongside my dad's. So yeah, that's going tomorrow. This one is still being prepped. There's not a huge amount that needs doing to it actually, other than, like I said, the carbon trim on the back of the seats. That's coming off. And there's a couple of, obviously we're going to check it over. It has actually just been serviced by the previous owner's mechanics, but we'll give it a check over as well, and we'll give it an MOT and anything else we find will be done as well. So that one will be hitting the website. Actually, by the time this is out, this one will probably be already up for sale on my website. I'll just show you the files and just show you. So basically, this is how I present each of the cars. They obviously have their full stamp service books, but also they come with these extra files with all the paperwork that we have. So the spec, the sort of factory spec and options are all listed there. Then we have the over revs. That has to be updated because that's from last year. The service history. This one has 2 pages. I think this one has 1 page. HPI check, then the MOTs are all there, laid out. Certificates are there. Certificates. So you can see it's all follows the same. Then any paperwork with regards to warranties that were with Porsche, but also then the services themselves, inspections that have been done in the past, Porsche, and then the specialist there that's worked on it, Porsche again, then my specialist Porsche Care, and then this one follows a similar pattern. So there's tyres, then there's wheel alignment, then there is Porsche Care from last year when they worked on this one, then Porsche Care, then my other specialist Bramfield Automotive, they did some work on it, wheel alignment as well. So yeah, all of the relevant documents are there for both cars. It's the same for all of my cars. And that just leads me to say, well, I mean, obviously these are very similar from the factory in that it's the same sort of model that was they're based on, but as you can see, you can make your own car look very different should you wish, both from the factory by speccing black wheels, the side stripes and everything else, but also afterwards. You can buy quite a plain vanilla car and you can add these bits. There are these bits available online, the spoilers, the vinyl stripes, you can get vinyl wrapping, you can even do window tinting as well if you want to. This car, luckily, I think that would be a bit over the top for this car, but essentially this has had everything else that is still sort of in keeping with Porsche because it's paying homage to the GT3 RS. It's a little bit of fun, and I think most people would look at that car if they saw it parked up. Likewise, they would look at this one as well. So that's where I'll leave it today. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about modifications or rarity of cars or anything else to do with Porsches, please don't hesitate to get in touch by either commenting below or dropping me an email. Thanks for watching.